That's right. Maui officials say 67 people have now lost their lives after 12 more deaths were confirmed today. And this just in, Maui County provided updates on the firefighting efforts. The Lahaina fire is now 85% contained. The Pulehu Kihei blaze is 80% contained, and the fire upcountry is 50% contained. Officials say fire crews continue to battle flare-ups in all three fires.
And today, West Maui residents, along with visitors staying in hotels, were allowed to return to the affected areas. Significant security regulations are in place. No unauthorized access without proof of ID or hotel reservations. And there is a curfew in place from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. There remains no power, water, or cell service as crews continue to search for victims.
And we continue to bring you team coverage on the disaster. Jolani Martinez has more on the Coast Guard's ongoing search and rescue efforts. Mahealani Richardson spoke with a couple that managed to escape the blaze. Ben Gutierrez just landed on Maui and is meeting with evacuees. And Lynn Kawano shows us relief efforts underway.
But we begin with our Chelsea Davis, who has the latest on residents trying to get back into Lahaina and joins us live with the latest. Chelsea.
Yeah, Mark, Ash, residents and visitors desperately trying to get into West Maui right now. That's why you see this extremely long line that stretches as far as the eye can see toward Ma'alaya. Visitors are trying to get to their hotels to grab their belongings to leave the island, and residents know they may not be returning to much. On top of all this, a fatal pedestrian crash earlier today. Kuihilani Highway was closed in both directions from Waiko Road to Honopi'ilani Highway from around 1 o'clock this afternoon to 3 o'clock. And this created an even bigger traffic mess than before. Officers were on scene directing traffic, and we also saw public safety personnel rushing to the scene. As for the families trying to get back home, the ones I spoke with say they didn't make it out with much, but they're grateful to have made it out at all.
We're strong. We're strong people. We're going to be okay. That's what's important, is that we're all sticking together. People are asking me if I want to fly somewhere, and why would I leave? This is my home.
Okay.
And these are my people, and this is where I need to be. So we're going to do what we can to rebuild it, and it'll be back, and it'll be bigger, and it'll be stronger than ever before.
So we're just learning now that the road to Lahaina has been closed in both directions. Just learning this right now, and I must say that I have been seeing a lot of police vehicles heading that way. I'm not exactly sure why, but I did see several of them rush toward Ma'alaya, that is toward Lahaina side. So definitely something is going on, and as you can see, it's completely gridlock, bumper to bumper traffic just stands, people at a standstill. So we don't know exactly what is going on, but again, road is closed to Lahaina both directions. We are going to be calling officials, county officials, to learn more about this. That's the latest from out here in Waikapu. I'm Chelsea Davis for Hawaii News Now.
Stay safe out there. Thank you very much, Chelsea. Really just an unfolding situation right now. And the state health department says residents and businesses who return to their properties in West Maui need to be cautious of health and safety hazards in the area. Officials urge wearing a tight-fitting respirator mask like an N95. They say cloth masks only partially protect you from ash. Goggles, gloves, closed-toe shoes, and clothes that cover your entire body are also recommended. They say children should be kept away, and you should change your clothes and shower before being in contact with sensitive groups such as pregnant women, kupuna, and those with asthma. The Department of Health also urges caution when entering any of the remaining structures in case they are unstable. Coming up at 4:30, we have a live interview with a restoration expert on how to safely start cleaning up.
And Maui County has issued an unsafe water advisory for areas of Lahaina and Upper Kula that were affected by the fires. Officials say the water system lost pressure as structures were destroyed, potentially causing harmful contaminants to enter the system and could get you sick. As a precaution, residents should not drink and not boil their water. Bottled water should be used for drinking, brushing your teeth, making ice, and preparing food. You're asked to limit the use of hot water and use proper ventilation when using water indoors. That includes when you're bathing. Now, with access restored, residents in the affected areas are now getting the goods and supplies they need.
Lynn Kawano has more from the checkpoint in Ma'alaya. Lynn.
Caravans with donations are now also able to get into the town and to those who need it.
We're taking from ice, gas, toothbrushes, toothpaste, baby food, diapers, basically anything we could get our hands on.
Kim Brasseres, a Lahaina native, is part of a large caravan of people taking essentials to those who stayed back. She has not been into Lahaina since the deadly fire Tuesday. She was notified that a family member died, but knows many others are in need.
We're just trying to help as many people as we can. We're just trying to get over to Lahaina and drop this stuff off.
We're getting snacks more. We got wipes. We have peanut butter. We have formula also and cereal for babies.
Paulina Marion and the Hungry Heroes Hawaii were in Lahaina Thursday and saw desperate and frustrated people.
None of the residents are getting what they need, right? And they don't have transportation. And so this was a really big problem because they can't get to the shelters.
Utility crews and other companies are working on the infrastructure as more people will be going into the disaster area.
It's Lahaina. We're strong. We're strong. We all will come back together.
The Lahaina Gateway parking lot is where many of the items are being organized and distributed. I'm Lynn Kawano, Hawaii News Now.
Thank you, Lynn. Now, a new report from the Associated Press says no warning sirens went off as the fires ripped through West Maui. Instead, there were only mobile phone and television and radio alerts. But with widespread power and cellular outages, critics say thousands were blindsided by the flames. Today on Sunrise, Governor Josh Green was not able to provide a reason why the sirens were not utilized.
Of course, people will ask that question. We will always try to protect people more. Eventually, those questions will be answered by the emergency management folks, I'm sure. But at this point, the firefighters, just to be clear, were already fighting major fires in 2 or 3 other regions on Maui, and then sometime late in the night is when the fire sparked to Lahaina.
I think this was an impossible situation. The winds that hit us on that side of the island, and in fact, in other parts of the island, in some areas, the gusts were up to 80 miles an hour, 80 miles per hour, some sustained between 45 and 60, 65. So everything happened so quickly. I can't comment on whether or not the sirens sounded or not, but I know that the fires came up so quickly and they spread so fast. There were some initially when there was a smaller fire, homes were evacuated. And again, many people evacuated from their homes.
This afternoon, Hawaii's Attorney General Ann Lopez announced she will be conducting a review of critical decision-making and policies before, during, and after the wildfires on Maui and the Big Island. We've reached out to the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency and are awaiting a response. Well, a Lahaina couple is recounting a terrifying escape from their beloved community.
They say the Lahaina wildfire started behind their home. As Mahealani Richardson tells us, they believe they were among the first to get out. Mahea.
Well, Ash and Mark, the Perkins moved to Lahaina to retire last year from California. They lived on Mill Street near the Maria Lanakila Catholic Church, but that afternoon, they thought they were going to die.
Oh my God, I think we need to load up the car maybe. Oh my God, it is so close.
Jill and Mike Perkins say the Lahaina fire started just behind their Mill Street home around 3:30 Tuesday. With no notice to evacuate, they jumped in their car with their dog, 2 cats, and just a few items.
Oh my God, this is a nightmare.
As the angry flames roared all around them.
We have the kitties and Sunny, I have you.
They desperately tried to figure out how to escape.
I thought we were gonna die. I said, oh my God, this can't be happening right now. Oh, that's the tree, the monkey butt tree. Next to our house.
Their Lahaina home devoured as they fled.
That's our house. Going, that's coming, let's go. What if it jumps the freeway here? I only took a videotape because I knew that was probably the last time we'll be there. And it was just like, unbelievable to watch.
Just burn right by it and keep going.
Oh my God.
The Perkins say traffic was at a standstill because of live wires over Honoapi'ilani Highway. Then Hiko crews put down plywood over the lines and they drove over it one car at a time. They say each second was excruciating.
There's probably 80 cars in front of us.
I don't know. It just,
60 or 80 cars.
it just seemed like every second was 10 hours waiting. And I kept saying, do we get out and run? Things are hitting our car, like branches and embers were hitting our car. A live wire hit our car, burned our car.
We had a live power line hit the top of our car. I was terrified and I was concerned for our family and for all of the other people there.
They made it to Kahului in 2.5 hours. Their house now in ashes, but memories of their beloved Dickinson Plantation home and Lahaina still strong.
Now, thanks to insurance, the Perkins are now living in a hotel in Wailea. They say there is survivor's guilt, but they are determined to rebuild and help their community come back. I'm Mahea Lenny Richardson, Hawaii News Now.
Thank you, Mahea. The Red Cross has shelters open at the Hannibal Tavares Community Center in Makawao, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Kahului, King's Cathedral, Grace Bible Church, Maui High School Gym, and the War Memorial Complex. And our Ben Gutierrez just landed on Maui this afternoon.
He continues our coverage from the War Memorial Complex and the shelter that is in place there. Ben.
Mark, Ash, this shelter has been in place pretty much since the beginning, and there's still hundreds of people who are here from Lahaina. Even though the roads have been opened, many of them still have no place to go, but there's also been an outpouring of aloha here. Let me show you what's been going on. A little bit earlier, Lynn Kawano showed the line of vehicles that's been trying to get in to make donations, but you can definitely see we've got this long line that stretches out to Kanaloa Avenue, and also it goes out to West Ka'ahumanu Avenue, and this has been a nonstop line of cars. They're being detoured through the parking lot to an area on the field, and then you can see the activity under the tents over to the left. There are still hundreds of volunteers. The Red Cross telling us there have been so many new volunteers who have been helping out at all the shelters, both here on Maui and also with efforts on Oahu. Now, again, while access has been open to Lahaina residents and others on the west side of Maui, there are still many evacuees here because, frankly, they no longer have a home to go to, and at this point, they have nowhere else to stay. Some of them have said that they escaped pretty much with just what they have on them, basically the clothes on their back. They're getting those supplies here. Many people giving those donations, and there's a huge stack of supplies that's on the football field, the soccer field that's here at the War Memorial Complex, and more of those are also being distributed to some Lahaina residents we've been told have been pulling up just in that area behind me, who are bringing in supplies or getting supplies for themselves. Now, this effort is going to be continuing, according to the Red Cross, as long as it takes, because there, again, is still no end game as far as how long it's going to be taking to get a lot of the evacuees back into shelters, or at least back into a place to stay. We'll continue to monitor the situation here at the War Memorial Stadium. Reporting live in Wailuku, Ben Gutierrez, Hawaii News Now.
Well, turning our attention to weather now, we are tracking the trade winds this weekend.
Plus, keeping an eye on the Eastern Pacific, our chief meteorologist Jennifer Robbins has a closer look. Jen.
And there are no major alerts up right now, which is great news as we head into the weekend. You see the winds really back down to about 10 to 15, at times 20 miles per hour. The gusts are coming down as well. Now we're seeing gusts up to about 25 miles per hour. Earlier in the week, even when we were transitioning to slower winds, the gusts were still about 30 to 35 miles per hour. Over leeward Maui, 84 degrees right now. We'll get to about 77 degrees 8 o'clock. Northeast winds coming in at 10 to 20 miles per hour, and not a whole lot of rain, but we are going to be seeing a few splashes windward Amauka. Mostly sunny conditions tomorrow. We're keeping a very close eye over the Eastern Pacific. There's an 80% chance that this area could become a tropical cyclone in days ahead, and that could track just north of the islands into cooler waters, though. I'll break that forecast down for you coming up shortly.
Well, TSA beefs up staffing as thousands of visitors flee Maui. We'll take you to Kaho'olui's airport when we come back.